4, 3, 2, 1, watch me. Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Lala and you're watching Lala Level Up. And today's video is going to be another pop culture video because after the Kanye video, I'm feeling like, I really want to talk about this Chrisean and Blueface situation because it was already crazy, but now it's just getting like scary, honestly. Before we even get into the video and my thoughts and opinion on it, I want you guys to leave a like straight off the bat, like the video, because that really helps push me towards like the algorithm, and I'm really trying to get my videos out there. So if you can, and I know you can you please like the video? And also subscribe while you're at it, you know, and comment. Like, I need that engagement. Like, give it to me. Give it to me. I'm putting out these videos for y'all, so I'm gonna need y'all to leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe for me. Like, can we have an equal relationship here, or what? Thanks. So so let's move on, y'all. Before we even really get into everything, I just want to do a little background on who Chrisean and Blueface are, in case, I don't know, you're living under a rock or something and you just have no clue. Blueface is a rapper. He came out with like a couple of songs. His biggest one is like Tatiana. Then he started doing like this Blue Girls Club, which is like a play off of the Bad Girls Club, right? And on that show, Chrisean ended up auditioning and ended up being one of the contestants in the house. Chrisean is from Baltimore. She had a very tough upbringing. She has 11 siblings. Her mother was severely abused by her father, and she really struggled with that. She was homeless since she was 7 years old. Yeah. She would cope with those things, cope with the trauma by engaging in sports. She was a track star and she was damn good at it. She even did a competition. I think it was called Tag, Ultimate Tag, something like that. And she ended up winning the competition. She won 10 G's. So shout out to her for that. I just want to set the scene on how this girl had a very bright future. She's very young, very beautiful Black woman. And she seemingly had her whole life ahead of her, despite the things that she went through as a child and in her teenage years. Blueface doesn't come from the hood. He comes from a pretty decent family, from the information that I've gathered, because I've been researching a lot on these two because I didn't want to come out with the video until like I really had my facts down packed. But Blueface grew up with his mother. His father was involved, but mostly like on the weekends type of thing. Has 2 siblings. He's close to both of them. And when his older brother went to jail, it really affected him. That's when there was like a shift in him, according to his mother, who his mother is a bit questionable, but who am I to judge? He didn't grow up with Crip. He wasn't a gang member. I think he just ended up trying to fit in, maybe. The way his mother talks about it, he's not really that type of guy, but he just puts on this persona for clout, or maybe just to feel accepted in a way. But Chrisean going on Blue Girls Club ended up being like one of the stars from the show. I never watched the show because I don't engage in that type of ratchet ass content, but from all that I've heard and all that I've researched, she was up in there beating people's ass and became like the star of the show. She got a lot of attention for her loyalty. She was extremely loyal to Blueface, still loyal to him, to her own detriment at this point. There has been a whole lot of drama between them. From Chrisean even got her tooth knocked out fighting one of the girls in the house over him. She ended up fighting. There's been videos of them fighting on the street, like her hitting him hitting her back, them be on the floor going blow for blow. Like, they've definitely been abusing each other. From what I've gathered, like, I'm pretty sure he hits her, allegedly. Everything I'm saying is allegedly, because ain't nobody about to sue me for my little coins, okay? But I think it's a back and forth thing with them, but I think there's a lot of manipulation and emotional abuse that comes into play. I noticed that he will record her a lot of times when she's in emotional distress. You can see she's clearly going through these emotions, and he'll just have a camera in her face trying to like exploit her pain, if you know what I mean. She obviously has some issues. She tattooed his name and photos of him, portraits of him on her body. Like, I think she has like 7 tattoos dedicated to him. And honestly, getting a tattoo of your significant other is just another way of branding. It's just another way to say, like, I own you. Maybe you don't agree, but these are my opinions. So it seems like a very tumultuous relationship where she is steadily trying to prove herself to him and will go above and beyond to prove her loyalty and her love for him. And he's not doing that for her. Now, I'm not in the relationship. I don't know what they discuss behind doors. So he could be feeding her a whole lot of sweet nothings just to keep her there. But honestly, it just seems like a disaster waiting to like truly explode, like a really bad volcano. In a situation like this with domestic violence, it only gets worse. It only gets worse. And Chrisean, her background of seeing her mother get abused, when you grow up and you see your parent get abused or you're abused, a lot of times as you get older, you end up gravitating to a partner who ends up abusing you because that's familiar to you. It's like a subconscious thing. You don't actively try to seek out an abuser, but a lot of times that ends up happening. Subconsciously, you attract that person to you. Let's get into what a trauma bond is. So a lot of people think a trauma bond is when 2 people bond over their trauma. That's what I thought it was, but it's not. A trauma bond is when an abused person has a strong emotional attachment to their abuser. A little bit like Stockholm Syndrome in a way, or like a form of gaslighting in a way, but it's more so of you just feeling very, very attached to the person who is abusing you. And then you go through the cycle of abuse where it goes to walking on eggshells, to the incident of the abuse, to the reconciliation where it's the, I love you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Very toxic and dangerous. Recently, what really made me want to make this video was seeing Chrisean go live with a busted lip, a black eye, just looking all types of beat up, crying, talking about Blueface beat her up. And she looked very disheveled, very emotionally distressed, and was saying on live, like, I am not going to be covering up for you anymore. Like, you fucked up. And then immediately the very next day, she made a live coming on the internet to say, completely recant her statement, just to say, you know, that didn't happen. It was me. I was drunk. I tried to jump out the car. He tried to help me. And in abusive relationships, like, that's really common for the person who is being abused to try to take blame and like minimize the abuse that's going on. So I don't think Chrisean is innocent at all. Clearly, we've seen her hit him. So it's not about she can hit him and he can't. Like, nobody should be hitting anybody, honestly. They both need to separate from each other and both get individual therapy because this is not a good situation. And I feel like it's only going to end in one of 2 ways. Either somebody's going to go to jail or somebody's going to die. And I feel like everybody on the internet is watching their relationship and celebrating it. And everybody's just sitting there and eating their popcorn. Like it's a movie, like it's a show. Speaking of a show, they actually have a show coming out on Zeus documenting this toxic and abusive relationship. So it's crazy how this is being monetized and people are supporting this. So now what? Millions of people are going to go watching this show just to feed into this and further continue like hype up this abusive situation. Like, everybody is just supporting this fuckery. And I can't for the life of me understand. Like, I really feel like everybody is delusional. Like, this shit ain't normal. Glorilla ends up doing an interview talking about Chrisean behavior is normal. And she don't see nothing wrong with what she's doing. Do you know how toxic, like, it is to be putting those type of statements out when there are a lot of young girls who are looking up to these people? I mean, at that point, honestly, the parents need to come into play and like be very mindful of like who the kid is really idolizing. But the facts are that there are young people who are really looking up to these people, and they're talking about this shit is normal and it's not a big deal. All women are like this. No, the fuck they ain't. This shit is not normal. And under no circumstances should abuse ever be tolerated or accepted from both parties. People need to love themselves and separate themselves from that shit. And I understand, you know, hurt people. Nobody's perfect. I've been in my own situations where I did things that I was not proud of at all. But at some point, you have to take accountability and separate yourself from the situation. I also heard that Blueface was going to bookings, taking Chrisean's money. I had seen a contract where all of Chrisean's money from Zeus goes directly to Blueface, meaning she's not making $1 and all of her money is going to him. And she signed off on that. So what I have gathered from all of this is Blueface is pimping out Chrisean, allegedly. Because it's like you got this girl around who's making you relevant. Blueface ain't dropped no music that anybody has been feeling in years. The only thing that got people looking at Blueface was his Blue Girls Club, because it was so ratchet. It was like 2020. Everybody's like in the house because of COVID and shit. So they're just tuned in watching this fuckery. And then, you know, lo and behold, Chrisean ends up being the star of that. And now she's even on Baddie South, which is another reality TV show. And, you know, she has music out. She's doing bookings. She's trying to, like, really make something of herself now. The only thing keeping Blueface relevant is Chrisean. I don't think that he expected her to become so famous. I don't think he expected her to make a name for herself and have people really love her the way that they do, because she's authentic. She's genuine. She is who she is, you know, even with all of her struggles and hardships and how she be in the wrong a lot of the time, and, you know, whatever the case may be, a lot of people really fuck with her because she's genuinely herself. And a lot of people love the underdog. Like, let's be honest, people love a success story. Seeing somebody come from the hood who didn't have shit, coming from straight poverty to now making something of herself, like, people love the success story. So people are supporting her, as they should. But then again, it's like people are also supporting fuckery. Like, everybody's making a joke of it. Like, even like Lizzo dressing up as Chrisean, like, everybody is glamoring their abusive relationship. But what is everybody gonna do when somebody dies? What's gonna happen if one day Chrisean ends up stabbing him? Allegedly. Possibly. I'm just saying, hypothetically. Or what happens if they end up just getting to it, you know, one day he ends up punching her in the temple and then knocking her out and she'll never wake up. Like, I don't think people understand that it only takes one time. It only takes one bad hit. It only takes somebody choking you too long for where you losing your consciousness and now you dead because your airways is cut off. So I believe the situation is way worse than people are portraying it on social media. I think that even though Chrisean has been through a lot, so if you come from shit and now you with a man who is a millionaire who has helped her get to where she is, she feels extremely indebted to him and very loyal to him, and like, you know what, I'm gonna stay with him no matter what. But at some point you have to choose yourself. If it's hurting you, it's causing you emotional distress like that, you know, you on the internet every day, you on the blogs every day doing this, and like, then she ended up saying on live how he ended up making her get a couple abortions. But then he got his baby mama pregnant while he was with Chrisean and kept the baby, and they had a second baby. So it's like, you with this dude, he's taking your money, embarrassing you, you guys are fighting each other, and he's making you abort your kids. Like, it's just like a lot to it. I know emotionally she's going through it, and I very much feel it's a trauma bond because she loves him so much and he's abusing the fuck out of her. And she's abusing him too. Like, this is a very much like equally bad situation for them both. Nobody should be supporting the show. Nobody should watch it at all. And I get it that people like fuckery, people like reality TV, people love drama so much because a lot of people are fucking miserable and they like bullshit, you know? But that's no excuse. Like, who the fuck is gonna end up saying, like, yo, enough is enough. This shit is toxic and y'all gonna end up killing each other. Like, who is gonna end up saying that? I don't know. I just think it's really sad. And I think it's even sadder that he fucked her up and the very next day she's blaming herself. And she very much has a drug problem, an alcohol problem. Like, everybody is just feeding her demons. They just, feeding her up with alcohol. All the time you see Chrisean, she got a bottle. She always drunk every day. Clearly, she's like, self-soothing herself with, like, substances. It's a way for her to cope, a way for her to numb herself because she don't want to feel the shit she be feeling. I seen a clip of her watching one of her episodes with Blueface, like with their new show. I guess they were previewing it and she was watching it in the studio. And like you see tears running down her face while she's watching it. And like people in the background are like laughing and shit. And she's like truly hurt. And even though I believe that she is feeding into it, like she's doing the most and she's doing extra too because she realizes that it's getting her attention. And I mean, she grew up with 11 other siblings. I'm sure she didn't get much attention with all those many siblings. And then her mother is a drug addict. You know, her mother is, I think she did crack or still does crack. I'm not going to call her crackhead because I think that's really rude and disrespectful. But her mother does drugs. And her dad was in the picture and he was very abusive. So, I mean, she doesn't come from a good upbringing. And I think she meets this guy and thinks like, oh, he loves her. He's putting me on. Like, he's changing my life. Like, I owe him everything. But really, she doesn't. She doesn't. It was her that got her where she is. At the same time, it's her personality. It's her essence. It's her aura. Maybe he put her in position, but you could put somebody in position, but if they don't have, you know, enough to hold it down, they just gonna fail. You know, people love Chrisean without Blueface. So I think like he's really jealous of her success because now he's in the background and everybody cares about her. And I believe like he's narcissistic and he doesn't want her to get all of this light. Or he's only allowing it if he's in the picture. I don't know how this situation is going to turn out. I feel it's very, like, diabolical and vile. And I think it should end. But, like, they're grown. What am I going to do? Chrisean is grown. Blueface is grown. And if this is a situation they want to be in order to monetize off of it or whatever the case may be, then honestly, I wish these two people the best. And like, I am so drained from researching this. Like, I was supposed to drop this video yesterday, but I'm like, no, I want to really take my time and research everything and come to y'all with all the facts and information that I've gathered. And when I tell you I'm fucking drained, like, I am drained. Like, I watched a 2.5-hour interview with Blueface's mom. I see Chrisean's interviews. I see Blueface's interviews. I see the fights that's gone on. And like, it's so draining just even researching it because you're tapping into all of this low vibrational shit. And like, I'm tired. I don't want to talk about these people anymore. I wish them the best though. I really like Chrisean when she's not doing fuck shit because sometimes she really just do like the most. I guess that's everybody, but like sometimes her behavior is just really like unacceptable. But overall, like, I really like her. Like, I think she has a lot of potential. And I feel like, I mean, it kind of sucks that like this is the route that she's going on because she's so talented. She's so beautiful and she's so young. I hope that eventually she can come up out of this situation and do better for herself. And Blueface talks down to her a lot. There were text messages of him just verbally abusing her, just saying he ain't shit and that like she need to be submissive and just like, just not the type of person you want to be with at all. So I hope that both of them get help and separate because this shit is not going to end good at all. So guys, I want y'all to leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about this Blueface and Chrisean situation. Do you think it's not that bad? Do you think this shit is terrible? Do you think they should stay together? Do you think they both need to break up expeditiously? Like, what are your thoughts and opinions? Did you watch the Blue Girls Club? Have you watched the Baddie South? What do you think about both of them? And what do you think about this new show that she has coming out? I think it's called Crazy in Love. Yeah, they're definitely monetizing off of the relationship. And I get it. You're trying to get your bag, but like, to what degree? I just wonder, like, where are people's morals anymore? Where are your standards? Why have all those things just gone out of the window? And it just seems like our society is just fucked. Like, I hope that's not the case, but it just seems like every man for themselves out here because, I mean, just look what's going on. Just look what's going on. I don't know. This shit bad, but honestly, I wish them both the best. And I want to know your thoughts, guys. And make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And I always keep my socials at the end of every video. So if you want my Instagram and my, what else I got there? My Instagram, my Twitter. I think my business email is in there too. So check all of that out. Make sure to hit me up. Let me know what you want me to talk about next. So that basically ties up my whole video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember, you can be, do, and have whatever you desire. You are limitless. Till next time. Lala, level up.
You can talk all you want. See me as a prey, nothing I'm afraid